Hey everyone, it's December 15th, and that means that if today is your birthday, you share it with alleged serial killer Carlton Gary, known as the Stocking Strangler, who was convicted of a murder spree in Columbus, Georgia in the late 1970s. And that is him right up there. Gary was born in Georgia in 1952 and possessed a near genius level IQ. But instead of being nurtured, his family neglected him as a boy, with him suffering from malnourishment. His father abandoned him at an early age, and he suffered an accident at his elementary school that left him unconscious with head trauma on the playground. Gary became a heavy drug user as a teen and started his lengthy arrest record in 1966, racking up collars for robbery, arson, and assault all before he turned 18. When he did turn 18, he left Georgia for Albany, New York. Just after he arrived, a series of raped murders of elderly women occurred. It began when two octogenarians were strangled with pillowcases 2 months apart. Gary was arrested as a suspect in the second murder, and he admitted to having been present, but claimed that his robbery accomplice was the killer. That man was convicted and sentenced for murder on Gary's testimony, a conviction that years later would be overturned. Gary served 7 years behind bars for his part in the crime before escaping prison in 1977. He headed back to Georgia, where elderly women began to turn up dead in similar circumstances to the two victims in Albany. They were raped, beaten, and killed, being left with a nylon stocking knotted around their neck. 5 women between the ages of 60 and 89 were killed in a 6-week span. 4 months later, a 6th woman was attacked, but managed to survive the assault, pressing the button on a bedside alarm. The assailant fled the scene and killed another woman just 2 blocks away. The police knew their suspect's profile, and racial tensions were high in the community, with all the victims older white women. 2 more victims turned up, with police distracted by letters from a man claiming to be the chairman of the forces of evil, who threatened to kill black women in retaliation for the murders in the community. That man, William Hance, killed 3 women before he was apprehended, and if I'm still doing this next year, you'll see a video about him on November 10th. Gary is alleged to have killed one final victim in April of 1978, then was arrested during an armed robbery 8 months later. Sentenced to 21 years in prison for robbery, prosecutors worked on building their murder case, but he escaped from prison in 1983. He returned to Albany, where he was arrested the next year and charged with 3 murders. Gary was convicted on all counts in 1986, being sentenced to death. There was controversy around his case due to a reporter revealing that his alleged confession wasn't recorded, and he denies ever having made it. The reporter wrote a book that sought to establish his innocence based on DNA found in semen samples at the crime scenes. New DNA evidence was eventually discovered, however, that tied him to a murder scene in upstate New York, but no charges were filed since he was already on death row. Gary was executed in Georgia in 2018, with most believing that he had killed 11 women during his crime sprees. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Carlton Gary, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.